General Jaswal, if Pakistan says nothing doing, our legal process will not move, our investigation will not move.
It is immoral, it is unethical, I tell you, and it is against the principle of journalism also, you know. So, it is not a good journalism.
Sir, thank you.
You ask a question and then you don't allow to complete the answer, you know. Even when you repeated your question,
in due proportion,
that question.
Sir, in due proportion, I have to be fair to others. Thank you very much. General Jaswal, how do we deal with this situation? We have eliminated Pakistan.
So you should blame your own stars.
1 second.
And your own system.
General Jaswal, you've heard this discussion so far. Mr. Chaudhary has given a fairly detailed answer.
What is this discussion?
General Jaswal.
Then better don't invite anybody from Pakistani side. Just, you know, have your own people and, you know, go for a propaganda against Pakistan.
Mr. Chaudhary, I want to go to General Jaswal with your permission for a bit. General Jaswal, your response to the points of Mr. Hilali at the start of the program today. General Jaswal, please. General Jaswal.
There's a lot of, we are facing terrorism at our own soil.
So I've heard that argument before. General Jaswal, please.
We have faced, you know, 2 bomb blasts in
General Jaswal, please now, sir. Thank you. General Jaswal, please, is answering now.
Immediately.
Mr. Chaudhary, I'll request you kindly give us time. जब खुद पे गुजरती है तो दर्द का एहसास तब होता है. We have suffered a terrorist attack which is known to the whole world, and we realize the pain, and I think whatever we have done now, it's an exhibition of our resolve and also to exhibit as to what true democracy is there, wherein we have given 4 years. Now, whether Pakistan, your question, whether Pakistan understands this, responds to it in a correct manner, well, there are various layers, there are various options to make Pakistan understand that. Military option, well, I don't doubt the potency of our forces to prosecute any such action, but it is under the ambit of political decision. The more important tool in dealing with Pakistan is with the government on a diplomatic note. They will have to ostracize Pakistan for not speeding up action against the perpetrators of 26/11, of whom we have given a lot of evidence. Probably, I hope I'm right. There is a lot of confusion there. They do not want to expose. I am shocked that the LET, which has been dubbed by each and every one, including the US, I mean, they are roaming freely over there. They're running schools, and with a lot of pride, it is being spoken that they're running universities and schools. I think a terrorist organization, what are they teaching? Their entire teaching would be based on terrorist thoughts. And who's going to suffer? The whole globe. I think there is time for introspection. And what Mr. Chaudhary was saying, that they are suffering terrorism in their own country. Let me tell you, if you live within snakes, if you live within ants, you will get a bite or so. You have been sponsoring terrorism from there. Well, it will one day, the devil will strike back, and that is how we are not exporting any terrorism there. It is their own homegrown terrorism. Unlike Pakistan, which is exporting terrorism and waging a proxy war in India, there's enough evidence to suggest what I have said.
Mr. Hilali, even now it is in your interest to move your judicial process, to begin your investigation and restore some sense, you know, of international respectability on an issue such as this. Because eventually, I'm sure some amount of international respectability is important even for Pakistan on this case.
Well, first of all, the soliloquy that was delivered by the general is so self-serving that it really is beyond comment. Tell him not to give us homilies on how to behave. We've seen how India has behaved over 65 years in Kashmir.
Mr. Chaudhary,
and we have seen that the root cause of the terrorism is the root cause of the terrorism that exists in Pakistan. The hate and the other emotions that are stirred are because of people like him moralizing from a false basis. Now, secondly, I agree with the anchor that we had made progress. We agree with the anchor that we had made. Look, please, you talk when your turn comes. You should be, as a military man, you should know when to keep quiet and when to speak.
My apologies for that. No, you're misquoting.
What I would like,
you don't have to tell me what a military man should do. Sorry, please don't tell what a military man is to do. I'm fully aware. But when I'm being misquoted, I will definitely respond in between, because that would carry a lot of opinion.
I have never quoted you.
Yeah, kindly, please.
I have not quoted you. I don't know what you're taking umbrage at. I've never quoted you.
Mr. Chaudhary,
anyway,
I do not want
to... Can we have a couple of minutes left on the debate? Let's
kindly proceed.
Let's proceed, yes.
Now, as far as our evidence is concerned, 6 officers of the government of Pakistan have given evidence to say that there was such a camp, that their investigations revealed that some of these terrorists did attempt that camp, and those people, in other words, we are saying that such a camp existed and that these terrorists were there, and that's why we have arrested them. That's why we want more evidence. That's why our Interior Minister, incidentally, would have been in Delhi by now, unless your man had called and said that he can't receive him because he has other preoccupations. So I thought everything was going rather well, because quite frankly, you may not believe this, obviously you won't, but let me tell you that we know all about terror. We've suffered, and now, if you thought at one stage we were lax about it,
Mr.
we are not lax about it
Mr. Hilali, since the start of this trial, you are trying to tell us today that there is some small acceptance 4 years later that yes, there was a camp, so you buy time for another 4 years, and that is movement? That's not movement, is it, Maruf? Is that movement by Mr. Hilali's definition? Mr. Hilali says that's a movement. It's going in the right direction. Maruf, you buy that line. I have 1 minute left on the debate. 30 seconds from Maruf, 30 seconds from Mr. Hilali before I close up. Yes, Maruf first.
Mr. Hilali, sir, I must compliment you that you finally turned the corner, but in your nice diplomatic manner, you've just conveyed that much and not enough. What we really need to get to address is a simple point. And I am quoting from the Rand Corporation report, that these terrorists began to bite the hand that fed them. And the hand that fed them was your military and intelligence agencies. The world knows that. It was not for nothing that Hillary Clinton turned around and said that you keep snakes in your backyard, they're going to bite you. It was not for nothing that the United States, it was not for nothing that the United States has put a £10 million, $10 million bounty on Hafiz Saeed. And finally, my final request to my Pakistani guests is that please read Stephen Tankel's book, Storming the World Stage, the story of Lashkar-e-Toiba.
A response from Mr. Hilali at the end.
How they operate
Mr.
under the direction of Hafiz Saeed. And if that's not evidence enough,
Mr. Hilali, Mr. Hilali's response, please, very briefly, on this debate tonight before I wrap up. To Maruf.
Well, all I can say is that we were progressing. We had got evidence. It is not a government officers testifying are doing so with the encouragement of the government, with the assistance of the government. Now, I would have thought that is a good way of approaching this issue. All right, you might think it's very slow, but put up with it, because we also have our courts, and we also have public opinion, and we also have different difficulties.
With great respect.
Having said that, when you talk of terrorist organizations, you've just buried a man and given him a state funeral.
Mr. Hilali, the point here is tonight we're talking about Kasab. We restrict ourselves to Kasab.
Yeah, well, why did you tolerate Thackeray for so long?
Over 1 billion Indians has completely run out on Kasab. I wrap up tonight. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on that debate tonight. Thank you very much indeed. And that's it on the Newshour this evening. Back tomorrow with the big story and the real debate. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and goodbye.